you see a swirling portal open and lots of pretty lights. And this enormous robot comes through.
Hello there.
And this big giant robot looks at you and is kind of looks back at the portal as the portal shuts and goes, "Oh shit. Hello.
Oh.
Who or what are you and where is this?"
I am the realm of forgotten memories, and you're at AFM. Are you a person?
I would say yes.
Huh.
I think he has that bit backwards. This is Ephraim. I am Ashura, and you are in the realm of forgotten memories and dreams.
Sounds about right for the kind of mishap I think I just encountered with the ground bridges.
Ground bridges?
That's the portal thing that I just came through.
Oh.
It's a ground bridge. Somebody at maintenance is going to be really in big trouble if I ever get back home.
Yeah, well, this sort of thing happens all the time over here.
More often than it should, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Well, I am WhipRound of the Decepticons.
Welcome. Would you like to have a seat and tell us about your stories and maybe have a cup of tea?
Or maybe some oil?
A little motor oil wouldn't hurt.
I'll see what I can find.
You're part of the Decepticons, you said?
Yes.
What is...
And just hope that no more of us come through here. You don't need to be encountering any more of us.
Okay. Well, who are the Decepticons?
Conquerors.
Well, we've had conquerors pass through here before.
How come you don't want any more to come join us?
Because some of my members of my army are crazy and would hurt you.
That does not sound too pleasant.
No, they're not.
What, they would just attack on sight?
Yes, because you're organics.
Well, that's kind of rude of them.
Rude doesn't even begin to start with it.
You don't seem that aggressive. Why are you with them?
Because back when I was young and stupid, we were about something a lot greater than just conquest.
What was that?
We were about finding your own place in the world instead of just having everything determined for you because of what you turned into.
And what changed? Or why did it change?
Power hunger. See, in the beginning there was Megatron, and Megatron was this great shining hero for us all, and he was the leader of this movement to overthrow the functionalists, and the functionalists were the bad people who were saying that your whole life had to be determined by what your alt mode was. And I was young and dumb, and I thought that that was what I wanted, was for the whole world to change so that that wasn't the case anymore. And I joined up with the Decepticons because I thought that would be a really good direction for my life to do something great. In the beginning, things were pretty good. We overthrew the Senate. There was a lot of glorious victories. But then things turned really sour because it started to be less and less about equality and more about conquest. And things have gotten pretty ugly, especially in the last million years or so. You ever been in a war? That's really corrosive on you to be in a war. Now imagine being in a war for 4 million years. And then you understand that just about everybody I know is crazy.
4 million years?
We're a very long-lived race.
Well, you don't look a day over a millennium.
Oh, thank you.
How do you keep running for so long? Like, you're a machine, aren't you?
Maintenance, repairs, replacement parts.
Because most machines that I've ever seen usually breaks down after a couple of years only.
Also, we have self-repairing mechanisms because even though we're machines, we're also life forms.
Sounds handy.
And how come you haven't left, since it seems to have changed so drastically from where you started?
Because of the Decepticon Justice Division.
What's that?
Those are the people who hunt you down and brutally kill you if you turn treacherous or refuse to follow orders.
Okay, this is starting to sound more like a dictatorship.
They're very creative.
Oh? How so?
You don't want to know what I've seen left of people who they've executed.
If there is anything?
Usually pieces left. Little bitty pieces.
That does not sound pleasant.
No.
Well, can you tell us a bit more about when you first started? What was it like, and maybe some of the missions you went on?
Well, when I first started, it was mostly just attacking places where the Senate still held in charge. That felt pretty good, but I was young and dumb then and didn't really think through things as much. So at the time, I thought it was pretty glorious to be blowing up shit. Blew up a lot of stuff.
I mean, blowing things up isn't always so bad.
Well, it is when there's people inside.
Ah, that would be a difference, yes.
What did the Senate do that made you want to fight them?
It was the idea that whatever your first, we see, my species can turn into different vehicles, and we call that an alt mode. And when you're first forged, you have an original alt mode that you can change. You can change your alt mode. But the functionalists decided that whatever your initial alt mode was, that was like a sign from God that you are to be in that role for the rest of your life. And because my initial alt mode was a military helicopter, I was sent straight to the military.
What did you want to be instead?
Scientist,
Respectable.
maybe an artist. I don't know. I've never really known anything else.
It's always time to explore your possibilities.
I have friends whose initial alt modes were of mining equipment, and they were the worst off of them all because they decided that mining equipment wasn't needed anymore after they developed some non living machines that were better at mining. And those people just ended up with no means of earning a living at all, whatsoever.
Oh,
And so a lot of the people who joined the Decepticons were miners or in the military or otherwise stuck in a role that they didn't feel like they should be stuck in.
I suppose y'all haven't tried to. Well, the just department, I'm assuming, doesn't allow any riots.
Well, the Senate's enforcers were pretty scary, but they weren't nothing like the DJG.
so what is it you do for the Decepticons?
Well, mostly I'm a soldier and I do a lot of fighting.
Oh,
I'm a big heavy flyer who can carry a lot. So I do a lot of transportation of equipment and I do a lot of medevac. I like doing medevac.
what is a medevac?
A medevac is when you grab somebody who can't fight anymore and get them to the medical people before they die.
Ah, okay.
How many times have you had to do that?
Oh, I've lost count. Remember, this has been 4 million years of war. I've medevaced a lot more than 4 million.
So what would your normal mission look like?
Well, I'd say I do a lot more patrol than actual missions, but most missions are go in this area and kill these guys. And the people we're fighting now are called the Autobots, and they have nothing to do with the Senate. The Senate is long gone. We defeated the Senate eons ago. But now we have the Autobots, and the Autobots are all about stopping Megatron from ruling the universe.
Almost sounds like you should join them with the drastic change.
Nah, I'm not going to break my oath, and I'm not going to turn coat.
But you said that you didn't like what the Decepticons had turned into,
No, I don't.
but you still don't want them to change.
What do you mean I don't want them to change? I do want them to change.
Yeah, but what can you do about it?
Well, I've been very supportive of people who are more gung-ho about change.
Oh, is there someone you'd like to tell us about?
Well, I was helping out Starscream for a while, but then Starscream turned out to be just as bad as Megatron, if not worse. Soundwave would be a good leader, I think, but basically, we just need to go back to the... That's a really tough question.
But it was all better before, back in the day.
Not really. It just felt that way because I was young and dumb back then. And now I'm older and wiser, and I wish I'd chosen a different path.
But back then you couldn't even choose your path, right?
Well, I mean, I chose to join the Decepticons. I chose to swear an oath to serve Megatron.
What are some of the better moments you've had with the Decepticons?
Oh, I have some really good friends that I hang out with in the mess hall, and we play games. Hey, there's this one Viacon he's got a number instead of a name. It's 5842, and we all just call him 42. He makes really good Energon pizza.
Sound tasty.
We have Energon pizza, and we Drink to the fallen.
And what about some of your favorite moments that you've had with the Decepticons?
There was this one time that I got shot down over this big deep hole and fell down the hole and ended up under the surface on Cybertron and got lost because it's like a maze down there. And I met these two young bots, and the three of us fought against these big monsters that were under there that looked kind of like a manta ray. I don't know what they were.
Do you recall who the young bots were? And what were they doing down there?
They were lost too. We all just kind of worked together to get out of there.
Were they Decepticons as well?
Oh no, they were actually a couple of Autobots.
Oh,
Well, they were so young, and I was stuck down there, and we were being attacked by the monster, and it was like, fight the monster, or fight each other, because if we fight each other, the monster's just gonna kill us all.
yeah, I can see that.
So we ended up just fighting the monster, and then we didn't kill each other.
That's sweet. Need a bit of a truce.
Bit of a truce, yeah. One of those kids is still doing pretty good. I don't know what happened to the other one. She disappeared at some point. Probably got killed.
Do you keep in touch with them?
No, but I see them occasionally. Or I see the one that's left occasionally.
On the battlefield?
On the battlefield, yeah.
Well, they don't sound too bad. Why do you fight the Autobots?
We're all people, but it's war, and you just gotta shoot before you get shot, you know?
Yeah.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
I don't know that that's always the best strategy. It's shoot first before you get shot. If you're gonna ask them questions, you catch them first.
Gotcha.
Those aren't too bad missions when they have you capture somebody. Although you feel really bad for what they're gonna happen to them afterward.
Yeah, I bet. Have you been on any bad missions that you think about?
Oh, I've been on some horrible ones. Part of being stuck in the army of darkness.
Oh,
I'd really rather not talk about those.
Understandable. But do you have any other favorite missions or moments? Anything that you really enjoyed that you've done?
Oh, the Golden Gate mission. That was another one where we had to work alongside the Autobots because there was a threat to everybody. The Nova Prime, which is this ancient person from the beginning of time or something. I don't know the whole story behind Nova Prime. I just know that he was bad news and he had all these purple crystals all over the place. And he was attacking San Francisco and he was going to kill both the Autobots and the Decepticons. And we were fighting him and we ended up all ranged up on the Golden Gate Bridge and everybody was shooting separately. And I realized that if we all just kept shooting separately, we weren't going to take this guy down because none of our weapons were able to take him alone. And so I kind of got everybody to stop shooting and coordinate to shoot him all at once. And we knocked him really far back. We did eventually win that mission.
sounds like you could have needed a dragon.
Is that what you are?
Yeah?
We're both dragons.
I don't know. I think that you would be better off staying out of war.
He's a little fleshy.
You're squishy.
I have actually been to a war,
Oh,
but it wasn't my war, so I didn't participate more than I needed.
that's good. It's bad when it's your own war.
Yeah.
Although I'm not gonna lie, he's probably caused several.
I-
Am I wrong?
I had to think for a moment, but no, you might be right.
It sounds like the Golden Gate mission required a lot of communication and coordination. I'm surprised you guys had that between Autobots and Decepticons.
Well, we have a really good master of communications, and we also have inbuilt radios. So I noticed that most organics don't have radio communication naturally.
That doesn't appear to be a built-in function, no. Who is the master of communications, though?
Soundwave. He's so epic that there's rumors that he can read minds. I think he just reads everybody's comms. Just listens in on everything.
He knows all.
Yes.
But it seems like the Decepticons and Autobots have at least some things in common then, if you can work together.
Oh, yes. We're both from the same planet. We're technically brothers, considering that all of us are all from the same source.
The source?
Yeah, all of our sparks come from Cybertron. The spark is kind of like our soul.
Oh, okay.
It's what makes us alive.
And how does Cybertron, is it like a naturally forming item? Is Cybertron just made up of the spark, or?
Cybertron's a planet. It's a giant mechanical planet.
Oh, that's one I haven't heard of before.
That's our home world. But lately we've been fighting a lot on this little rocky place called Earth that's in the backwater of nowhere.
Earth I have heard of.
That's a silly name for a place.
Yes, it is.
Like dirt?
The inhabitants call themselves humans. Actually, we have our own name for Earth. We call it Eucharis.
I mean, that's a better name. But I have heard of humans.
They're interesting. They're so much like us, but they're so much smaller and squishier.
Yeah, and kind of stupid. No offense to any humans out there, but
Oh, I've met some really brilliant humans. We got this one human named Esquivel who is always inventing things.
Huh.
And then his weapons show up on the battlefield, and then we have to fight them.
What? That doesn't sound good, though, if you have to fight whatever he makes.
It's not good, but on the other hand, you can't help but admire how resilient and clever these things are.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a perspective.
And I like blowing up things that aren't alive.
Who doesn't love a good explosion?
Well, I know too many people who love explosions way too much.
I love experience with those, I bet.
Yep. Kind of another reason why I'm glad that it's just me here.
Or else they'd be trying to blow up a lot.
Yes.
Speaking of, you said that you had some friends that you like to hang out with in the mess hall.
Oh yes, I have Ashfall, and then there's several squadrons of Viacons that like to hang out with me. And there's Supernova, and there's Kickback and the Insecticons. They're fun to hang out with. And I have so many friends, it's hard to keep track of them all.
Any friends that rely on you?
I think that the one that relies on me the most is Ashfall. Bear relies on me a lot. His full name's Load Bearer. Sandbuggy. Most of the guys that are my friends don't have names, they have numbers. Because back home, the more in control the functionalists got, the fewer people were being born with a name. So they would be forged and they wouldn't have a name. They would just have a number. And everybody's got a serial number, but it's better to have a name.
I can imagine that if some people live for millions of years, then you would run out of names.
Well, I hear people say that all the good names have been taken when they complain about how somebody has a silly name.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm still using my name, so no one else can have it.
Your name isn't very much like one of our names anyway.
Oh, do you mean like yours?
Yeah, I'm WhipRound, and people call me Whippy.
I don't think Ephraim has the same ring to it.
Do you want to see my alt mode?
Absolutely.
So there's a transforming noise as he shifts and whirls and refolds into a helicopter with two rotors.
That's quite the fancy ride.
Yep, I give people rides all the time.
I bet that people would bring you to parties all the time then.
Usually I'm the person throwing the party.
Oh,
Sounds like you're the life of the party.
I try to be. It's good for morale. Can't just be war all the time.
Agreed.
My friend Ashfall has this big collection of old videos and movies from Cybertron, and we watch those as part of the parties. Well, right now I'm really worried about my friend Ashfall, because apparently he's been kidnapped.
When were they kidnapped and why?
I don't know why yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. But this group that's usually very loyal has decided to go AWOL. And they took Ashfall with them, and I really would like to get him back. They took a Sparkling, too.
sparkling?
A Sparkling is like a child.
Oh, okay.
Very young Cybertronian.
Why would they kidnap a child?
I have no idea either. But considering that the child is the clone of someone very important, that may be why. But Ashfall isn't important, he's just a clerk.
Do you know who took him?
Yeah, I just don't know why. And I don't know where he is right now. I'm trying to find that out. And I was hoping that this GroundBridge would take me there, but no, it's screwed up.
Oh, well, accidents happen, I guess.
Although I got to meet you two, which is a nice thing.
We appreciate that. It's been lovely meeting you too. Once the war is over, if you think it'll ever be over, what do you plan to do?
You know, I've thought about that, and it's just so hard to picture me doing anything but fighting. But I'm thinking that I would like to try out this cooking thing that my friend 42 does.
You'll have to bring us one of those pizzas at some point so we can try it out then.
Maybe explore the universe. That could be fun.
Travel's always good for the soul. Or, well, in your case, the spark. But let's see if we can get you back to where you're supposed to be going.
Well, if you see anybody else with this purple symbol, you might want to consider flying away.
I'll make note of that. We appreciate the warning. But we wish you luck with your endeavors, and we hope you are able to travel at some point. But until we hear from you again, have a good awakening.